face is a lot harder. You can't work with the razor. I have to use this one. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting off the excess flash. I'll show you in a minute. Why it doesn't really matter if you have to cut straight or whatever. Once you're done, this part will hide it. As long as you leave yourself a little bit of gap so it'll hide it, doesn't matter how straight this is. I'm still going to use my grinder and grind it straight, but one side might be higher than the other. It doesn't really matter. Same thing with here. I'm getting rid of this edge. So I'm not taking a lot off, just the flashing. Same thing with this one. Underneath flashing. These can be a little bit tricky when you're doing it. Over time you'll get used to using thin snips. It does wear out your forearms a bit though. And I'm a righty, so I try not to go how I'm going now. It's so much easier to come this way instead of going that way. So that's just the trimming. I still have to trim up the eyes with the razor, but I'm going to trim the back. So this is called the cap and the back. It's all one piece. NE makes two-piece, and it's so much easier to buy one where it's already put together. You don't have to worry about trying to glue it together, and it's a big nightmare. So I come in from the inside, because again I'm right-handed. So all I'm doing is cutting this flashing off. You want both the helmets to fit together. Any of this flashing that you have left over will make this part stick out. So you want it as flat as possible. So when this piece goes in there, it's not sticking out. And this piece made a little lip in here. So now the trickier part, cut this inside. So I'm just coming up and meeting where I made that last cut, because you will see this piece right here. The ears will not go up high enough. You will see that. So I have to use a file on this and this end. I do the same thing. So this is going to be a little bit harder. I can't really go that way, so I have to come in from the inside. It's a lot harder to be done. It's just a pain in the butt. So there you go. And again, you're going to have to sand it down right in here, because the ear will leave a little bit left out. Same helmet. The brow trim, you're going to see just a little bit. Brow trim, you're going to see just a little bit. So you want to make sure on here, once you're done, that you and then we're going to do the ears. We're going to make it even less of an ear gap than that. And this is actually the correct brow trim and the correct I'm sorry, brow trim and neck trim. And I got a nice little chin strap in there. Okay, so I'm going to do the bottom part of the helmet, then I'll cut out the eyes, and then the ears. I'll trim, do a real quick trim of the ears to make it easier. So this part of this mold, the ear sticks out a little bit. See how this curves in? This side doesn't. So to make the ears sit just a little bit more flush, I'm going to bend them in just a little bit, because the earpiece is going to actually hide that. You won't see that, but I want it to curve in just like the other end. When you put them in, it curves in more with right here. So now the eyes. So be very careful. Back with the eyes. I'm going to cut out the eyes with a razor and then trim out the ears. And I'll show you the pencil line with the tin snips. I'm not that good with the razor just yet. So I'm just cutting out the front section and the back section, not the back here or not in there. So once I get two really good ones, I'll push it in. And then I'll go really slow, because you don't want to cut into the actual face. So I'll cut in, go really slow, and I just push it down, and that's, my eye is out now. Do the same thing with the other side. Just one very light one, second light one, one very light one, second light one, and then actually push it in, and then go slow down. The trick is to go slow, because you don't want to cut the face at all. So I cut it from here to here, and here to here. I'm just pushing it in, pushing it down. So I didn't cut it enough. That's okay. I just lightly. So it'll bend a little bit better. Come right off. So there's just the eyes, just to start. We're obviously going to get rid of all this, all the flashing, and we're going to do the teeth. So that's done. Now, put this away. We don't need that. I made a pencil line for basically where the line already is, but that's not the line I'm actually going to use, or not where I'm going to finish once I actually trim the ears off. I'll bring you. So if you look at here, make sure this is the right side. So if you look at both these ears, from where I have the line and from where we actually cut, you can tell there's still a lot more. So it's safe to say that I can trim roughly where I have it penciled where the line is, because I'm going to still trim off a lot more to make these ears fit onto the face. Alright, so now I'll trim. Again, I use my tin snips. I got these at Home Depot. I think they're like 17 bucks. I love these things. They got like a spring or something in there, so it actually comes back. So there's one side, the other side. And if I didn't tell you earlier, we're actually building this to Centurion specs. I find it's a lot easier to build to EIB and Centurion than it is to build to just basic 501st. Because most of my guys on the fire team want to look good, so we just build straight to the more movie accurate look. Okay, so that's just, like I said, just basic cutting it out of the flashing. We're actually going to get a lot deeper. I'm actually going to trim off more here. So you can see there's like a little hump. We don't need any of that hump when we go to put it onto the face. It's gonna look ugly. So I'm just gonna come in here and trim off some more. So people that's done it the first time, just, maybe you might not want to trim so much, and just trim with your Dremel first. A lot closer, but since I've done easily 15 of these, I know I can trim a lot closer and it's going to look fine. And it takes me about 20 minutes after I get this to get each ear done. So the more I can trim with this instead of trimming with the belt sander, the better, the faster for me. I'm all about trying to get this done quickly, but like I said, I'm building to Centurion, so everything's going to be built right, but I don't feel like spending 2-3 weeks to build it when I can build it in a week. The ears are the hardest part for most people. Once you get the feel for it, though, it's actually not that hard. So just a few pieces I've trimmed with this. My forearm's already burning. But again, this armor's a lot thicker, so you gotta put a lot of power in there. So I'm not gonna go into here any, or into here any. I'll just use my belt sander. And then I have the flat part, I'll put it down there, sand it nice and smooth, and then the edge where it goes down, that's how I get those. And then I'll use my Dremel from there to actually go up. I'm just gonna go on a wing here, and I'll probably end up to about right here when I'm done. So we'll see when I'm done how much of this line is still left. And I'm going to say not very much or none at all of the line will be left. I'm not going to trim to this line. I'm going to say this is probably how much I'm going to trim off. So I'm going to go slow when I trim. Not here though, I'm going to go a lot faster here. But here I'm going to go a lot slower. And hopefully I'll be right on the money. I'll do it on this one too. I just got to straighten this side out. I trim quite a bit off. So these are probably coming in more this one. Same thing with this one. This will end up being. Alright, so that's it for now. Now we're going to go outside and I'm going to sand all this down and then put the helmet together and put the ears on, and we'll come back in and then we'll start making brackets, and I'll start heating these edges up and bending them to where they're all flat, and then we'll we'll actually put the brackets on it today, so everything will actually be hooked up. Boom, boom, and boom, boom. Same thing with the front to the back, it'll be hooked up. So everything will be lined up the same, just depending on the person. One might be taller, one might be shorter. I might trim a little bit off of here. I might make this gap a little bit longer for somebody that's taller, or shorter for somebody that's shorter. So all the armors, when I make them, they have all the same gap. Now, I haven't built to anybody that's really short, but if I had somebody that's, like, let's say, female that wanted to do it, she's 5'5", I might trim an inch off of here, maybe an inch off of here, make a return edge on both. So instead of it being here, it's down here more like Luke's. So it just all depends on the person.